Welcome to the lesson on order of operations. Order really does matter. Here's some examples where order matters. The order you put your socks and shoes on matter. It would be very weird to put on your shoes and then put your socks over your shoes. And so we put our socks on first and our shoes on over our socks. The order in which we do that really does matter. The order you put your cereal and milk in a bowl matters. Some people prefer to put the cereal in the bowl first and then pour the milk on top of that. Other people put the milk in first and then add their cereal. Which way do you do it? The order that I put my cereal and milk in, I put the cereal in first and the milk on top. That matters to me. A lot of recipes require order, and the order you put that recipe together matters, because if you put some ingredients in before others, it doesn't give the recipe the consistency it needs or the look it needs, such as the 7-layer salad on this slide. And so the recipe gives you directions in what order you are to do certain things. The order you dial a phone number matters. If you misplace the numbers and you put it in a different order, well then, whoops, you're going to get the wrong number. In mathematics, the order you do really does matter. What we have here is 2 plus 3 times 2, and I have it written down twice. Let's take the first one, and let's do it in this order. Let's add our 2 plus our 3, which will give us 5. We'll multiply that by our 2, and our answer is 10. Now let's do the second one in a different order. Let's do the 3 times 2 first. Then let's add the 2 plus the 6, and we get an answer of 8. So we did it in a different order and got a different answer. Well, which one is correct? The 8 is correct because it's following the order of operations that has been established for math. This is what we need to do so that our answers are correct in mathematics. We need to follow the order of operations. We first need to take care of grouping symbols left to right. Now there are various grouping symbols. We can have parentheses. We can have brackets. We can even have a fraction bar where the numerator is one group and the denominator is another group. Then we need to take care of exponents. What is an exponent? Well, often we may have a base and an exponent, and the exponent tells us how many times we multiply the base together. So 5 squared means 5 times 5. 5 to the third power, or 5 cubed, means 5 times 5 times 5. Then we need to take care of multiplication and division left to right. Notice that it doesn't say that we do multiplication first, then division. We may do division before multiplication. It just depends on the left to right part of it. And lastly, we take care of addition and subtraction, and we follow the same rule, left to right. If the addition comes first, when we go left to right, we do it first. If subtraction comes first, left to right, we do it first. But we do all addition and subtraction, starting from the left and working our way to the right. Many of you may have heard this as PEMDAS, as a way to remember the order of operations. I like to put it in this way. P stands for parenthesis. Also, that can be any other grouping symbol, like the brackets or the fraction bar that I mentioned before. E stands for exponents. Then M and D, those two together stand for multiplication and division. But again, remember, that is left to right. So sometimes division will come before multiplication. And the A and S represent the addition and subtraction. Again, we do this left to right. Let's look at some examples. When this printed into my program, the little box that's here did not come over, and so I'm going to put a dot there, a multiplication dot. So then we can look at this problem, and we can say, well, we got 15 plus 22 over 2, and remember, fraction var is division. 22 divided by 2 times 14 minus 6. So first we're going to look for any parentheses or any grouping symbols. We do have a fraction, but the 22 and the 2 do not have any kind of operations in them, so there really isn't any grouping symbols we need to deal with. Next we have our exponents. Again, I do not see any exponents in this problem. Next we have our MD, but we have to do that left to right. So we have 15 plus, we have 22 divided by 2 times 14 minus 6. So we need to do the 22 divided by 2. That will be 11 times the 14 minus the 6. Now we need to go and look for any others. We've got multiplication and division. We had a division that came. Now we need to do our 11 times 14 because that's our next multiplication or division that comes when we're working from left to right. So we need to take 11 and multiply it by 14. That gives us 154. Now we look for our addition and subtraction, and we're going to do that left to right. So first we have our 15 plus our 154, which will be 169. Then we can take away our 6 because that is the next left to right addition and subtraction that we have. And 169 minus 6 is 163. That we have followed through all the PEMDAS. Our final answer is 163. Here's another example. Again, we're going to start with parentheses or grouping symbols. Well, we have one of those right there. So we need to take care of that first. So we're going to end up with 15 minus 2 plus 8. And take care of what's in parentheses. 9 plus 5 is 14. Then we're going to look for any exponents, which there are no exponents in our problem. Then we're going to do any multiplication or division, and we're going to do that left to right. So we have 15 subtract 2 plus 8 times 14. So we need to take care of our 8 times 14. So when we take care of our 8 times 14, we're going to get 112. And then we have 15 minus 2 plus 112. Now we're going to do all our addition and subtraction, but we're going to do that left to right. So we're going to take 15 and take away our 2, which is 13. And 13 plus 112 is 125. So again, we followed all our order of operations and ended up with a final answer of 125. Here's another example. We're going to start with our parentheses or any grouping symbols. There isn't any in this problem. Then we look for exponents. We do have an exponent. We have 8 to the second power. So 8 to the second power means 8 multiplied by 8. 2 8s multiplied together. That is 64. Then we will have the rest of our problem. We next look for multiplication and division, and there is none. Then we do addition and subtraction. Now, since that's all that's left, we can work our way left to right with all our addition and subtraction. We could do 2 at a time if we wish, or we can do them all together. It's up to you because that's all we have left. 64 plus 9 is 73. 73 plus 15 is 88. And 88 minus 3 is 84. 5. So we have our final answer, and that is 85. You will notice that on each of these problems, I'm doing step by step. Now we could just put the problem in a calculator and get an answer. We can do that to check our answer, but you really need to be practicing the order of operations by doing each step separately when you're doing your work for this section. Later on, we may use our calculator from the beginning of it, but for this lesson, we're actually practicing the steps of the order of operations. So you want to do your steps and write those down so that you're showing that you understand how to follow the order of operations. Okay, here we have another problem, and again, we need a multiplication symbol right there. If I can get it to go in without too much messiness. Trying to make a small dot there. So we look for grouping symbols. Now remember that a fraction bar is a grouping symbol, so we do have one. Then we have to look at the top of that, and we even have some order we have to deal with there. We have some parentheses on the top. So we have 4, take away 1, that is 3. And now we need to take away or take care of any exponents in the top of it. They're in the grouping symbol that we're working with. We want to work with the top of the fraction and complete it out, and then we'll work with the bottom of the fraction. So we now have some exponents. We have 3 to the second power. That's 3 times 3. So that will give us 9 plus 4 times 7 over 15 minus 10. We got to do any multiplication and division, and our grouping symbol in the top. We do have 4 times 7, which is 28. Now on our grouping symbol in the top, we've done everything except for the last one, which is addition and subtraction. Our grouping symbol with the bottom of that fraction only has subtraction in it. So now we can do the addition on the top. 9 plus 28 is 37, and we can do 15, subtract 10 on the bottom, which is 5. Now this answer could look like in several different forms. 37 over 5 is called an improper fraction. I could divide 5 into 37, and it goes 7 times with 2 left over. So another way the answer can look, besides 37/5 is 7 2/5. Or we could do 37 divided by 5 and write it as a decimal answer. Then our answer would be written as 7.4. All of these answers are acceptable. So our acceptable answers are 37 over 5, or 7 2/5, or 7.4. They're all the same number written in a different form. First, a improper fraction right here, then the mixed number, and then written with a decimal. So any of those are acceptable. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you can work through your problems showing your steps for the order of operations, so we make sure that you understand how to follow a certain order in math. It will come up in some other things later, so we need to follow that order to make these problems come out to be the answer that is correct. So thank you very much, and enjoy your day.